Let's leave everything and go traveling. See what tomorrow brings. It's only a choice away. Let's back up and leave today. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
So we had just finished pre-running and were headed from San Felipe back to Ensenada. And in the morning, this is what we woke up to. Baja. All right, enough of me being distracted with how pretty it is here. It was time to get down to business, and today we got to meet the whole team and check out the race truck. Like I mentioned in the last episode, the course for this race changes slightly each year, and this year it was a loop that was just over 898 miles, all of which you must drive within 40 hours. Very few people drive it all themselves, and our team had 3 sets of drivers and co-drivers that would be swapping out during the race. Team 1 was Kirk and another Tim, who would start the race and go to race mile 275, where our Tim and Rob would hop in and take the truck to race mile 605. Where the final team of Brady and Adam would swap in and hopefully take it to the finish line back in Ensenada. So, although the truck would never change, the people in it would. That means everyone who would at some point be in the race truck, as well as pitting for the truck, needed to know where things are, like spare parts, tools, etc. They need to be familiar with the vehicle before the race.
I got a medium, is that better for you?
Then it was time to go over the plan to make sure the whole team was on the same page, as far as where they were supposed to be and when. There are a lot of moving parts with a race like this, and it's pretty critical that everyone, well, works as a team.
So the first spot that the car is going to see someone would be considered chase one. Okay, so we'll just kind of go through the whole course and talk about who does what at what spot.
Lucky for us, Rob is good at organizing all of this.
We'll be all the way at the end before you make the right turn into the wash. Okay, so right before you go into the wash, it's right in the middle of town. We'll be right there, and that's where we're going to do the first fuel stop. Okay, so you guys will be coming down from the highway, and we're going to come up from San.
And finally, it was up to Contingency and Tech. The truck had already passed the tech inspection and was good to go, but some of the guys still needed to get checked in themselves. I was told that normally this area would be packed, but this year only the racers were allowed in, so it was pretty quiet. Hands sanitized and temps taken, they headed in to get their wristbands and sign their lives away. I waited outside and watched some of the trucks as they headed for their own tech inspection. Alright, so this is contingency of COVID-19, so it's kind of locked down, but the trucks go through their check. There's all the vendors here so that you can get stuff. And then you're all set to race once you're checked in and your truck's all good, and pretty neat. Now with all of that complete, we headed south to just outside of San Quintin, so we would be near where Tim and Rob would be getting in the truck the next day. Good morning. It is race day. We are down just past San Quintin, and Tim and Rob do not get in the truck until the second leg of the race. so they probably won't get in until like 5 or 6 tonight. Pretty much drive the whole night. So we won't probably see them again until 2 a.m. So just taking it easy this morning. Gonna go get breakfast and relax a little bit, and then we're gonna help do a pit for the current team that's in the truck, and then go wait to get in the truck basically. So nice day, and yeah, it's exciting. We'll see how it goes.
Can you tell I was feeling a little anxious? I hadn't slept much the night before, and I wasn't even in the race. But I was feeling the excitement and anxiety, and I think Tim and I have an unspoken agreement that in situations like this, there's no need to talk about the stress out loud. We know it's there, so just be calm, be there with each other, and yeah, it's just better for both of us if we don't focus on those nerves, I guess. So that's what we did. We kept an eye on the live stream of the racers taking off at the start line back in Ensenada, estimating how long it would take them to get to the first pit. I had watched this live stream with Tim from afar many times, but it was a cool feeling to actually be here watching our team take off.
Driving an Illumicaf race car.
So,
The car is off.
yeah, here we are in San Quintin. Race car's off the start line. Just watched live video of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's just a matter of time now. A
Now we just wait for them to get here.
little while ago.
After some breakfast, we rolled on down to where we would be pitting for the truck, and while waiting, we got to watch some of the race go by. It's so crazy to me that they don't close the roads for the race, and you can see how much traffic there is. It gets pretty chaotic in sections like this where there are a lot of spectators, teams are trying to pit, and then it also happens to be part of the race course. The race trucks have to stay under a certain speed limit in these sections, but it's still a bit crazy.
Right, nice little Honda there. Almost hit him.
Another crazy thing is that some of the big trophy truck teams have helicopters that follow them from above. So you know one of the big guys is coming when you see the helicopters moving in. Again, it all felt very Mad Max to me. You can see out there the speed limit is lifted and they can put the pedal to the metal. We got to see some of the other teams pit. And then it was time for us to pit.
Basically, fuel up, fix anything that needs fixing, and get the truck back on the course as quickly as possible. My job was to check on the guys inside the truck, getting them water and whatever else they may need. But mostly, I just tried to stay out of the way.
Keep coming. This way, all the way to me. All the way to me.
Right front tire! Right front tire! They cannot get these lugs off in the desert.
They got a breaker bar.
Tell them.
Tim, tell them. You get a go to the breaker bar.
Then we filled up with gas for the pit where Tim and Rob would be getting in, got some dinner, and settled in to wait for the truck to arrive to race mile 275. All right, we're at race mile 275. This is where Tim and Rob get in. And as you can see, the sun is setting. So Tim's gonna be getting in the dark and doing their whole lap. I think it'll take them 10 hours, something like that. This is the part that I got to pre-run, and it is really rough. So in the dark, it'll make it even more interesting. There's the truck right now. So yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be a late night for everybody, and it's gonna be dark. Wish Tim luck. We had estimated when the guys would get here, but kept our ears on the radio for any updates. It was pretty quiet here at first, all the teams waiting for news of where their trucks were, the occasional truck going by or pulling in for a pit, and a few spectators walking along. Tim and Rob started getting ready, all the while keeping an ear to the radio for any news of the truck. Someone had the weatherman station on a loudspeaker so we could all hear updates from him. All the while, Tim and Rob staying perfectly cool, calm, and collected. Things were starting to ramp up here, and suddenly we heard via weatherman our truck was stuck, and we sent the pre-runner out on a recovery mission.
So on the GPS, it's super easy to find on those chase roads.
And still, all we could do here was wait. All right, so our truck was almost here. We just heard over the radio that they are stuck. So, guys, we sent out a team to hopefully go find and recover them if they can't get unstuck themselves. And we're just waiting. Maybe they'll show up and Tim and them will get in the truck. Maybe they won't. So, we're just waiting right now. Hopefully they can get themselves unstuck and get here, but we'll see. Not too long, and we got word that they had gotten unstuck. So Tim and Rob, again, geared up to wait.
On the radio, he hasn't moved in an hour, all right?
These are your gloves?
522X hasn't turned. No statuses right now. Stand by.
About 60 miles they had the first fight. Yeah, 60 miles.
You got everything you need?
Yep.
Alright. You're good.
All right.
Waiting is hard. I was feeling the anticipation and anxiety for sure. I can only imagine how Tim and Rob were feeling.
The Honda factory.
Oh yeah, that's got a trend.
Good night.
Hola.
Do you have a sticker from my kids?
Sí, claro.
All right. Thanks. Bueno, for me or?
Sí,
Thanks.
no problem. Sí. Uno más.
Uno más. Gracias, thank you.
De
Thanks.
nada.
Have a good day.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches. Sí.
And finally, they arrived. Everyone had their jobs. We worked as a team to swap drivers, fuel up, and fix anything we could. Sorry for the terrible footage. I was more worried about doing my job, making sure Tim was good to go, and not getting in the way too much in the process.
I got it. Yep.
Yeah. All these lights on. Not the middle. The ones to the front. You want both? You all bumper. Help me with this. Somebody monitor a radio, please.
All right, 7:30, and they are officially off. Yeah, they got in good. Everything was okay with the truck that we know of. Apparently the lights suck, so that is a bummer. But they're out, so we'll see how far they get. Hopefully we see them again in 8 to 10 hours. Myself and Rob's dad, Steve, hopped in the truck and started our 8-hour drive over to race mile 605, just south of San Felipe, where we would be meeting the truck to again pit and swap drivers for the final time.
Meanwhile.
Now, I don't have any actual footage from Tim in the truck. He was a little busy, but it turned out to be quite a race. It was a long, insane night to say the least, full of things that could only happen in a Baja race. You can read Tim's blog post about his experience, I'll link it below, or if you ever get a chance around a fire, ask him about Baja racing. He has a lot of good stories.
8 hours later.
Alright, it is about 2:30 in the morning, and we just got over to just outside of San Felipe, and the boys are having some trouble with their power steering, so we loaded up some parts and now we're headed to the pit, which they are headed to. Hopefully we can get that fixed, but we shall see.
1 hour later.
A new power steering pump was what they needed. As the guys finished up the install, Tim and Rob were back in the truck and ready to go. Since they had lost reverse, a push back, and off they went. Exhausted already, they still had a long ways to go.
Many minutes later.
It is now about 5:30, and we are waiting at a road crossing. Guys are having some trouble with their brakes. Not bad trouble, but they're not working very well. So I'm gonna see if we can add some brake fluid, and sun is just about to rise. We've officially made it all night without any sleep. And once the guys get here, they have 100 miles left until they get out. I hope they make it. Right now it's looking good. The truck seems to be doing okay, besides the brakes not being fantastic right now. But it will get easier with daylight as far as seeing things goes. So that's where we're at. Yeah, he's been driving all day.
Yeah.
Or all night, whatever it is.
Well, it's gonna be all day.
Yeah. All day and all night. We waited and listened as Tim called out what mile they were at over the radio. They had also decided it wasn't worth stopping for the brakes.
They would make do to where they would get out and deal with it then.
Everything is good. We're just standing here watching you go through. Smile.
Can you imagine not knowing what that thing is out there in the desert? So much noise and the amount of light bouncing around. I would think it was some sort of monster. And just before we saw the sun come over the mountain, they made their way past. It's funny how much hope the dawn brought with it. We felt more awake somehow. We knew the light would bring much more visibility for Tim and Rob. And dang, was it a stunning sunrise. Have I told you I love Baja? We stopped for some coffee in San Felipe, which was hazelnut and disgusting, but we drank it because by this point we were zombies. We were headed for race mile 605. We had radio contact. They had made it to the road. And I stood on a hill to wave them into the pit. The teams passed any important info on about the truck, the brakes were bled, the truck was fueled up, and any other things that could be fixed were, before Brady and Adam climbed in for the final leg of the race. If they could get the truck to the finish line, it would be a success. Had made it back. They were ruined, beyond exhausted, but they had done it.
And then at the end, he just started doing this.
The words wouldn't come as fast as a hand signal, so my eye would see the angle of the turn. I'd be like, left. Yeah.
One last pit stop and everything seemed to be holding up. So off they went one last time. And just as the sun was setting, stuck in Ensenada traffic, we heard over the radio that they had crossed the finish line. So I don't have any actual footage of them crossing the finish line, but it looked something like this. What an accomplishment. We all met back at the Airbnb to celebrate. I think most of us had been awake for well over 40 hours at this point, so everyone was a bit of a zombie. It was something special to be part of the team, and I'm so thankful to all of them for letting me tag along and experience the Baja 1000. It really was the experience of a lifetime, and I can't wait to do it again. Thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed this one. Join us next time as we load up Old Tonto for a winter adventure in the desert. See you then.
Homemade?
Yes. Everything but the wrapper.
Everything but Kirkland.
Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. I think I was recording.
Dirt Sunrise Race catheters. The next item from our store.
Only $19.95.
$19.95. You too could pee while walking down the street or riding in a race car. Act now. Remind me to not put that or take that out of my shoe.
Hey,
that'll be important.
You'll know.
Yeah, I'll know.
Warm foot.
I go, oh, my right foot is so warm. I think the exhaust
and now
must
it's
run right there.
cold and
Oh wait.